So I just want to say, first of all, good morning to everyone, and thanks for having me here today. I've been asked to come in and speak to you about my experience of the college, in the hope it would inspire you to make the most of your time here. I know there's lots of you in the room from all levels, and I've done almost all levels, from the first diploma when I was 14 to a BA Honours, which I finished last year. So I think I've got quite a lot of experience in the college sector, and I can understand what most of you are going through here. And I think this college is a really great place to get an education, as it's really helped me progress in my career. So anyway, so I started, as I said, at 14, doing a first diploma course. This was at a different college, but I did it alongside my GCSEs, which meant I ended up doing the equivalent of 14 GCSEs. So it was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it. And because I had quite a hard time fitting in at school, at college I felt I could be myself and not worry about trying to fit in all the time. So because of that, at 16, I decided to go to college full-time to study my A-levels. This was a controversial decision in my family, as they thought that college was for like vocational study and not academic. So my mum didn't want me to go, and it was a battle with her to try and convince her to let me go. She said I wouldn't get on very well at college, and I felt that she put more value on my grades and my happiness. However, I did go in the end, and I started and made lots of friends, and I felt really, really accepted for the first time in my life, more so than I had done at school. However, it didn't all go up to, according to plan really in the first year. I didn't get on very well with my mum, and ended up not going home in the week, and I'd go out at the weekends. So I was on a bit of a destructive path, making decisions not to attend classes. I didn't complete my coursework, and I didn't study for my exams. So basically lost my direction, and because of this I didn't do very well in my first year. And even though I started off top of the class in September, I didn't really do very well in my AS exams. My closest friend who was on the course with me had been the same. She was lacking the focus and the motivation, so she had to retake the whole year. However, luckily I managed to scrape through into year 2, so I made a really good effort to do better this time. And I went to speak to the student services, and they gave me help and advice, and they're really supportive. So I got some counselling from them, and it just helped make it a bit easier for me. So this is how college, it differs from school, because you've got all this freedom to make all your own choices, and you can do whatever you want really. And I've used this, and to my own detriment. And this was my biggest regret in education, and I still wish now I'd tried harder, because there's nothing more frustrating than watching other people in your class celebrating getting their grades and passing their courses, and you're not able to join in with them because you didn't do as well as you should have done. However, I did pass all my levels in my end, but by this point I decided I'd go to work full-time rather than stay in education. So while most of my friends went on to higher education and university, I went into an admin job, which was quite fun at first. I got to earn my own money, and that gave me the opportunity to move out of my home, and obviously I wasn't getting on my mum, so it was brilliant. But after a few months I realised that it wasn't very stimulating doing this, and I started job hopping and moving from one job to another. And as I did this, I didn't make any progress. I just went from one job to another with no direction. So even though I was earning money and my friends were studying, soon they started finishing their degrees, and they got jobs, and they were getting the same level, or most of them even higher than me. So I realised it was a lot more difficult going straight to work, especially without a career plan. I didn't know what to do. And so I started to have these regrets about not going to uni or not going to do higher education. And as I became dependent on earning a wage, I couldn't afford to quit and live off a student loan. There were opportunities that came up where I worked, but I did apply for them, but I always fell short for some reason. Sometimes it was because I didn't have enough experience, or not qualified enough. I didn't have any evidence to back things up, so I wasn't getting anywhere. And I don't think that it was the lack of degree that was holding me back, but it was more the lack of confidence, as I wasn't able to make myself stand out from the crowd. And these are the skills that I could have learned at a college like this that focuses on developing these skills. By the time I was 21, I was in a job that I utterly hated, and I felt desperate for a way out. I didn't want to move sideways again into another role, as my family and friends said I was giving up too easy all the time, and I felt I should be doing more than that after 4 years working. So I decided to come to Warwickshire College. I thought I'd build up my professional skills by going back part-time in the evenings, maybe to do some kind of management training or something like that. But I found myself, after meeting the business department here, I enrolled on a full-time business foundation degree, and it was outside of working hours so I could continue working. It was a pretty radical, life-changing decision to make, especially having a full-time job and a full-time degree. It was going to be a really big challenge, especially much bigger than if I'd gone straight into it at 18, into education. But I was absolutely determined to succeed this time. And I never would have expected to have ended up doing a business administration degree. I suppose I started it off as convenience, but it really fitted in well with my life, and it benefited my job, and I really found myself thoroughly enjoying it. I'd say the hardest part of it was obviously having so little free time, because I had to be committed to classes after work and had to do a lot of private study, and I couldn't lose this motivation and the drive to succeed. So I had to miss out on nights out with my friends, and I had to do assignments instead of watching TV on Sundays, which used to be my favourite thing to do. But I wasn't going to make the same mistakes again and get distracted. So I found more and more enjoyment out of doing well in work and doing the best I could. And the more I did that, the better my grades got. So I felt like Warwickshire College gave me this second chance to make something of myself. It wasn't the easiest route, but it started paying off as my new skills and confidence helped me make changes to my role at work. So I identified a passion for teaching people, and I took that back to my employer, and I created a sub-role for myself as a team coach. So this meant I could bring the things I learned at college back to work and train everyone else up. So I taught them how to streamline the processes and use technology to make their productivity higher, things like that. And I was also given the responsibility for training all the new staff into the department. So it was really, I found it much more rewarding, and that was just after a year that it's all changed. I couldn't believe how much difference just 1 year of this confidence building that Warwickshire College gave, it made to my life. So I completed the first year with a merit, and then I decided I was going to take a big risk, and I left my job for a temporary role because I still didn't enjoy working there. Some people might have thought that was a bad choice because it was hard to get jobs, especially at that time. But for some reason, I knew I made the right decision, so I stuck with it. I really enjoyed this new role, and it fitted in nicely alongside my studies because my manager allowed me to do my assignments during the quiet times. So again, my grades increased and they got better. And in the end, I completed my second year of my foundation degree with a distinction, which is one of the most proud moments of my life. By the end of this, as well, I was offered a permanent job in the new company I'd moved to, and I had a much better salary, and it was really clear the effect that having this education was having on my career. And they were really fully supportive of me continuing and doing the third year and topping up to a BA Honours. Again, that was full-time alongside a full-time job, but I thought, well, I've done 2 years of it, what's another going to hurt? It was a lot harder than the first 2 years, and my grades started off quite low, but I spent a bit of time trying to understand where I was going wrong, and once I started making changes to my work, my grades got better again. So I just wanted to say that I think that the entrepreneurial thinking I've learned at the college has really helped me. The last module of my course was entrepreneurship, and we had to look at the characteristics of entrepreneurs, and it made me realise that having an entrepreneurial mind and starting a business were completely different things. Entrepreneurial people were the ones that would make a difference in an organisation, the ones that did well for businesses, the ones that were leading other people, and they were themselves leading successful careers. So I realised the value in standing out from the crowd and being different. This is a time when there's so much competition for jobs, and going about things in a unique way is really, really vital, I think. Especially with the younger generation, seeming to have trouble finding employment. That even though I think they're a massive asset to employers, because they're viewing the world of business for the first time, and they question things that people take for granted, and they can make changes and they make things better. So they may not have the experience and the level of knowledge that people that have been there longer have, but they can monopolise on the, you know, the evidence strengths, just the way they think and being adaptable to change. So I think any smart employer should employ young people. So yeah, I've learnt it's vital to train your mind to evaluate everything that's going on around you. Think about what it all means, how it could be improved, what you could do differently, what opportunities are out there in the world. Don't ever stop learning and taking the things that for granted, as it's constantly changing. So don't follow the crowd and stand out, make a difference. So in my experience, there's a few traits that I've discovered that I think are absolutely vital to help you stand out and succeed. I think I can, yeah, skip that. I'll just put them up there just so you can see. And this is what I think I've used to help me get where I am now. So having focus, it's don't forget the end goal, what you're doing here. The moment I forgot the purpose of what I was doing, I stopped doing well in my education and therefore my career. As well as that comes with drive and motivation. Sometimes it's hard studying while you've got so many other things going on. So make sure you push through the tough times, because if you give up, you won't be able to celebrate your achievements. And as I said, if you're struggling or you're under pressure, there's always someone you can go to at the college for help. If it's something in your personal life or too much work on your plate, there's people whose job it is to make sure you can cope with everything that's thrown at you. So just tell them what's wrong and they'll help you fix it. They helped me fix it in my second year, my A-levels. So, and if I hadn't told them, they wouldn't have been able to help me. Having an ambition or a dream, it's not about wanting to be the chief executive of a company or, you know, take over the world. It's just about knowing that you can all go somewhere and wanting to do the best you can in something that you want to do. And if you aren't sure what it is you want to do, just do something you enjoy and become really good at that, because your career will build up while you become an expert in the area that you enjoy. Taking opportunities is important as well, because you might have a specific path you want to follow. I didn't, but some people do. And if you do that, things don't always go to plan. You might not pass every single exam. You might not get every interview. You know, you might not get there when you want to. But remember, there's so many opportunities out there. So keep your eyes and your mind open, because you might find yourself doing something you never thought you'd end up doing, like I did with my degree. If you're not sure what to do, then just follow your instinct and take a chance. And then you might, if you don't like it, it will come useful later, I'm sure. And if you do, you might find yourself doing something really unexpected. Creativity also is important, I think, because if everyone's thinking the same, then someone's not thinking. One of the things that set young people apart in the workplace, again, I said, this fresh pair of eyes and a new way of thinking, having an innovative and creative mindset, it's really important. So be creative. It takes courage, but people remember you for it. Like I did when I went back and changed my job to be a team coach. It's always worth speaking out to get your ideas heard. Leadership, I think that's one of the most important traits, because it's not about managing, it's about getting on with people, it's about inspiring people, motivating people and understanding them. You have to sort of learn how to hold your tongue and when to say what you really feel. So what I'd say is join a team or a group, do something that interests you. It will really have a massive impact on your later life. I was actually beaten to a management role by someone who had no more experience than me, but she was the captain of her rugby team, and because of that she had these proven leadership skills, and I didn't. So, as I said before, if you use these opportunities, you can use them creatively on your CV and set yourself apart from everyone else. I'd also say don't be afraid to make mistakes, because I'm a very indecisive person, and I have trouble making decisions, such as the A-levels to take, what jobs to take, which uni to go to. And because of this, it sometimes held me back. I didn't want to make decisions in case I failed, and therefore made no progress at all. So I don't think I've made the wrong choice. I've just gone down different paths. So every time something hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to, I make sure I learn lessons from it and make sure it didn't happen again. But I don't have any regrets at all. So I would say if you don't give your education your best shot now, you really are going to feel it later. I'm not saying it's never going to be too late to get an education or a degree or any qualification, but it is much easier to work now when you've got all these responsibilities. I learned that not making the most of your time gets you nowhere, but luckily I've been able to fix this, and I now have a degree to show for it, and plus less than 6 months after graduating, I was offered a role as a project manager, and now I'm the youngest on my team with a really good career ahead of me. I'm pleased that all the hard work I did paid off, but I don't recommend choosing the path I took if you can work hard now. College is about more than just a course. It's not just an access route to higher education. It can be used to set you up for the rest of your lives. So you've got this unique opportunity to learn the skills you need for your future now, both the entrepreneurial skills that the college offers you and the technical skills relevant to your course. You've got so much going on here, and so many opportunities within this community that I wish I was studying my A-levels here, right now, because it's just a wonderful place to be. All I can advise you to do now is get involved, do something that interests you, join a group, take up a sport, volunteer, become a student ambassador, take part in the student council. If you don't see anything you want to do, then make your voice heard and take new ideas to the enterprise board. Whatever it is, just find your passion and pursue your hobbies, meet new people, make your time here different to everyone else's. If you get in this mindset now, your whole future's sorted. Plus you'll have lots more fun along the way. So yeah, the last 10 years for me has been a journey, and college has been a really pertinent part of my life. I've learned so much here, and I hope all of you guys do too. So good luck to you all in your education at Warwickshire College, and good luck in your future careers as well. I hope you make the most out of it, and remember, you've only got one life, so enjoy it. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you, Lydia, for that. We've got a bit of time to ask Lydia some questions. So if anybody's got any questions about Lydia's journey.
Yeah, I really appreciated that talk then. I went through a similar kind of thing, and I think when you're younger, it's very easy to get off track. So yeah, I really enjoyed that chat that you just gave there. I was just wondering, what do you actually study now, and what did you do your degree in?
I graduated last year, and I started doing a business administration foundation degree, and I ended up with a business strategy and management BA honours. It's just a very long degree, just business, yeah. So it was really relevant to my career. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't expect to be doing business, but I really enjoyed it. Have you had the same? You've had the same. What have you done a degree as well? Or
I've done a degree,
okay.
And I've ended up going back to college after it. So everyone says, "Oh, what are you doing that for? You know, you've got a degree." But I'm like, no, because I want to further my skills in another direction.
Yeah.
So
that's really good. Go for it. Honestly, it'll pay off.
What in the end was like the key thing that made you go for business?
Well,
what was the little?
It was actually, I came to Warwickshire College and spoke to someone called Jackie Cook, who is the curriculum leader there, and she convinced me to do it, because I didn't actually go in to do that at all. Like I said, I had no direction, and it actually was just the fact that it fitted in really well with my life, and it would help my career that I was in. But like I said, I didn't plan to go and do that, but I really enjoyed it, and I have no regrets now. I'm really passionate about the subject, so that's why I was saying that I had dreams to do script writing and acting and all these things, but in fact I ended up doing something I didn't expect, and I really enjoyed it.
So I just wanted to ask, from way back when you came in as a 14-year-old, the cohorts of 14-year-olds always seem to enjoy being in college, but when you were at school and you had the option to come to college as a 14-year-old, was that seen as a positive step in the schools, or was it, send you to college?
It was really strange actually, because my course was quite different. You had to audition to get on, and it was a difficult course to get onto. But yeah, I remember thinking there was this sort of this impression that people had that it was a sort of easier option, and that they had looked down on it. But I did 14 GCSEs, so it was a difficult thing to do, and it really enriched my learning experience. So yeah, I don't know. I think that might be changing now, because those courses are getting better and better. But yeah, there was a bit of negative attitude towards it sometimes from people. But I think that was when I left to do A-levels, it was like that as well. So, and I don't completely disagree with it. I think it was the best thing to do.
Do you think that college is different to school?
Yeah.
And is it different in a good way?
Yes. Yes.
Hi.
Hiya.
Did you ever do anything with the student union to help further
your interest at the college?
That was something that I should have done when I was 16 to 18, and I didn't even go into college. Most of the time I'd spend the afternoons in the coffee shop just doing nothing really while my friends were in class. So this is the bit where I think I should have done that then. But in the last 3 years, having a full-time job, I've not been able to get involved in the student union as such. However, I've done anything I can do. I've gone to help out at the open evenings, and I'm a business mentor now as well for the business students. So I am more involved now. But yeah, if I had been 16 now and could get involved with that, I'd definitely do it, because you can see on your CV how much it helps you, and that's the leadership skills that it brings out of you, I think.
Carry on. And with the negative attitude, did that come from taking the college for granted? Because I noticed that quite a lot of under 18s do go to the college just because it's like free, and so and because I'm 20,
yeah.
And so I'm a mature student.
Yeah.
When you come across, don't laugh. It is quite strange to have all these young people just sort of like just go in there just because it's free and just kind of DOS, but when you come across those like really creative students who just want to get involved, it's really quite nice. And so to hear it from you is very heartwarming.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
My question is, you say like between 16 and 18, obviously you just DOSed about a bit and didn't do too well. Do you view that as wasted time, or do you view that as helpful time, kind of thing?
I don't. It's hard because I'm glad I've done it now, because obviously you can look back and say I shouldn't have done that, and you won't do it again. But I know if I hadn't have DOSed about for those 2 years, at 18 I would have gone on and maybe gone to uni and done something and had a direction. So it wouldn't have taken me so long to get where I am now.
I mean, the only reason I ask is because I went on a level 3 course over at Coventry and failed miserably, DOSed about for a year, didn't do too well. But I view that as the most important year of my life.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay,
because that got me to where I am today,
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, it's good while it lasts, and it's just when you get to the end of the year, it's a bit more stressful kind of thing. Thanks for that.
No worries, thanks.
Hi, well, we're from Leamington.
Hi.
But I mean, obviously you've got 14 GCSEs, and that's an exception. We do the access course, and it's never too late to come back to college, even if you do you're 16, 17 and go to college, and if you completely cock it all up, you can still do it, so don't worry.
And actually my friend has done the access course, and she didn't get any A-levels.
So you can, it's never too late, is it?
It's not too late ever, definitely.
Don't worry.
Anybody else? Good enough. Any 16 to 18-year-olds want to come back with a rebuttal to the people that think? No? All right. Right. Just give Lydia a round of applause. She did fantastic.